On the morning of May 24, 2023, in the shadowed hush of her sprawling chateau nestled against the glassy expanse of Lake Zurich, Tina Turner stirred from her bed. The air was thick with the scent of blooming lilacs drifting through the open window, but an unspoken weight hung over the room like a storm cloud gathering on the horizon. At 83, her body, once a whirlwind of electric energy on stages around the world, now betrayed her with every labored breath. She had fought battles most could never imagine: abuse, illness, loss. But on this day, something felt final. As the sun crept higher, casting long shadows across the polished floors, Tina rose slowly, her hands steadying against the bed frame. Little did the world know these would be her last 24 hours, a quiet crescendo to a life that roared like thunder. She moved through the house with deliberate grace, perhaps pausing to gaze at the lake's serene surface, a mirror to the peace she had finally claimed after decades of turmoil. Friends later whispered that she spent those hours in reflection, maybe humming fragments of old songs that had defined her. Just days prior, she had posted a photo online, herself in simple black sweatpants, fists clenched in quiet defiance, celebrating proud moments like her Hollywood star. Cher, her longtime confidant, had visited recently, sharing laughs amid the pain, recalling how Tina, even bedridden, demanded stories to lighten the mood. Tina had openly spoken of her readiness for the end, unafraid after a life of peril, including ignoring health warnings that led to her stroke in 2013, intestinal cancer in 2016, and the kidney transplant from her husband, Erwin Bach, in 2017. As the day waned, surrounded by the luxury she earned through sheer will, she slipped away quietly from natural causes tied to her ailments. No grand finale, just a fade to silence, leaving behind a $250 million estate and echoes of a voice that shook the earth.
Want to do it with me?
But to unravel the enigma of that final day, we must rewind to the dirt roads of Nutbush, Tennessee, where a storm was brewing in the form of a little girl named Anna Mae Bullock. Born on November 26, 1939, into the harsh grip of the segregated South, Anna Mae's childhood was a crucible of abandonment and grit. Her parents, Zelma and Floyd Bullock, toiled as sharecroppers on cotton fields that stretched endlessly under a punishing sun. The youngest of three sisters, Anna Mae, later Tina, witnessed the fractures early. Her father was volatile, his temper a dark shadow over the family shack. When she was just 11, her mother fled to St. Louis, unable to endure the abuse any longer. Floyd soon vanished too, leaving the girls to fend in a world that offered no mercy. Raised by a stern grandmother on the plantation, Tina picked cotton by day and found solace in the Baptist church choir, where her raw, powerful voice first hinted at the legend to come. Nutbush was a place of cotton fields and churches, she later sang, but also of poverty, racial strife, and a deep-seated feeling of being unwanted, a burden that ignited her fire to escape. At 16, after her grandmother's death, Tina reunited with her mother in St. Louis, where the city's pulsing nightlife beckoned. The clubs were alive with rhythm and blues, a siren call to her untapped talent. It was at Club Manhattan in 1957 that destiny struck like lightning. 18-year-old Tina grabbed the microphone during an intermission for Ike Turner's Kings of Rhythm Band and unleashed a soul-stirring rendition of B.B. King's You Know I Love You. Ike, the band's charismatic leader, was captivated. But before Ike claimed her spotlight, there was Raymond Hill, the saxophonist. Their brief affair resulted in Tina's first child, Craig Raymond Turner, born in 1958 when she was just 18. Hill departed soon after, leaving Tina to navigate motherhood alone amid her budding dreams. Ike Turner entered her life like a double-edged sword, promise and peril intertwined. By 1960, she had become Tina Turner, starring in Ike's hit A Fool in Love. Their duo, the Ike and Tina Turner Review, exploded onto the scene with high-octane performances that blended soul, rock, and raw sensuality. Hits like River Deep, Mountain High in 1966 and the Grammy-winning Proud Mary in 1971 catapulted them to fame. Personally, Tina gave birth to their son, Ronnie Rennell Turner, in 1960. They married in Tijuana in 1962, a union that masked horror. Ike adopted Craig, and Tina adopted Ike's sons from prior relationships, Ike Turner Jr., born in 1958, and Michael Turner, born in 1959. But behind the glamour, Ike's abuse was savage. Beatings, control, drug-fueled rages. Tina performed with bruises hidden under makeup, even attempting suicide in 1968 with an overdose. The suspense of her escape built like a thriller. In 1976, after a vicious fight in a Dallas hotel, she fled across a freeway with 36 cents and a mobile card, hiding in motels under assumed names. The divorce in 1978 left her penniless but free, keeping only her stage name. The 1980s were her resurrection, a plot twist that defied all odds. At 44, in an industry that discarded women her age, Tina reinvented herself with Private Dancer in 1984, a juggernaut album selling over 20 million copies. Tracks like What's Love Got to Do With It swept the Grammys, earning her 3 that year. She toured with icons like the Rolling Stones, starred as Anti-Entity in Mad Max Beyond Thunderdome, 1985, and bared her scars in the 1986 autobiography I, Tina, later adapted into the 1993 film starring Angela Bassett. Romantically, post-Ike, affairs were scarce in the public eye. Tina focused on healing through Buddhism, which she discovered in the 1970s and credited for her survival. Then came Erwin Bach in 1985, a German music executive 16 years her junior, met on an airport. Their bond was her sanctuary. After multiple proposals, they married in 2013 in Switzerland, where she became a citizen, renouncing her U.S. one for tax and privacy reasons. Tina's family saga reads like a tragic epic, shadowed by loss and strife. Craig, her eldest, bore the scars of witnessing Ike's violence and his biological father's absence. He became a real estate agent but struggled with inner demons, dying by suicide in 2018 at 59, a blow that shattered Tina. Ronnie, the musician like his father, played in her band but grappled with addiction and health woes. Married to French singer Ike Turner, he succumbed to colon cancer complications in 2022 at 62. Ike Jr., a Grammy-winning sound engineer who collaborated with Tina post-divorce, faced his own battles with drugs and health. He passed away on October 4, 2025, at 67 from kidney failure after years of heart issues. Michael, the most private, has endured addiction and health challenges but remains the sole surviving son as of January 2026, living quietly amid ongoing struggles. The family has weathered a triple tragedy in under a decade, with Ike publicly voicing frustrations over estate involvement, calling for a takeover in social media posts, and advocating for recognition. Rumors swirl, including unconfirmed reports of cease and desist letters to shows like The View for using her music, highlighting protective tensions around her legacy. Irwin, as widower, is set to inherit nearly half the estate, with the rest likely divided among survivors, per earlier reports. Even in death, Tina's story unfolds with new chapters. In 2025, a 10-foot bronze statue was unveiled in Brownsville during Tina Turner Heritage Days, capturing her iconic stage pose, though some debated its likeness. The musical, Tina, the Tina Turner Musical, thrives, kicking off 2026 with tours across North America, from Folsom to Birmingham, and international tributes like What's Love Got to Do with It in the UK. Unreleased tracks from Private Dancer emerged for its 40th anniversary, including Hot for You Baby. Germany honored her with a 2025 commemorative stamp as the Queen of Rock and Roll. A children's book, Just Like Tina, inspired by her life, hit shelves early in 2026. On platforms like X, fans and artists like Beyoncé continue tributes, with Bey crediting Tina as her queen and linking her Renaissance era to personal milestones. Tina retired in 2009 after a triumphant 50th anniversary tour, having sold over 100 million records and won 12 Grammys. Her 2018 memoir, My Love Story, and the 2021 HBO documentary, Tina, cemented her narrative of triumph over tragedy. As 2026 dawns, her family navigates loss while her spirit endures. A suspensive legacy that, like her final day, ends not with a bang, but an eternal echo.